Let's talk about the truth about adaptive AI in college football 26, man. So yesterday I dropped a video talking about adaptive AI, but really going over this website that pretty much gives their opinion about how adaptive AI works in this game. And y'all boys is going crazy. I was in that comment section going nuts, going absolutely crazy, pretty much saying that that information was false, man. This website was giving its opinion. At the end of the video, I talked about how this information wasn't 100% correct, but that's on me. Nobody watches till the end of the video. I should have said that at the start. So that video has been unlisted. So if y'all have the link, y'all can see it, but if y'all don't, y'all cannot view it. And we're going to talk more about adaptive AI and how it probably actually works, or how it's supposed to work in this game. And I appreciate everyone that was respectful and pretty much said, hey, I think this is wrong, or hey, look more into this, whatever. However y'all said, I appreciate that. Now, if you was disrespectful, hey, man, you can't comment no more, sweetheart. You can't comment no more, sweetheart. You'll be okay, though. You'll be okay. But no, if y'all enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the video. So, adaptive AI, man, a bunch of people reached out to me, some content creators, and like I said, a lot of you guys reached out to me about this. And yeah, so it's 9 different settings for this. And the way Mills explained it, Mills reached out to me over on Twitter, and the way he explained this works is pretty much it determines how your coach suggestions are called during the game. He said it has nothing to do with AI. So it has to do with like how your coach suggestions pops up, which is interesting. I think that's pretty interesting. So apparently they're saying it pretty much has nothing to do with how the opponent plays against you. It just had to do with your coach suggestions. And the way that website yesterday was saying this more so has to do with how the computer adjusts to you. But rather what Mills is saying, that's all with your difficulty. So if you're playing a Heisman, then the CPU will adjust to you more quickly. You know, if you're running the same play, whatever, the CPU will adjust to you like that. So that's kind of how they're explaining this is actually working. And we also got a little post here on Twitter that let's go ahead and look at it, man. So it's interesting because for you to like really find out how this works, it's not going to be on the video game at all. They don't explain it whatsoever. You kind of got to go over here to Twitter. EA Help made a little post about it and kind of explains adaptive AI, man. What is adaptive AI, man? It's how your coach thinks. In Dynasty mode simulation, your play calling adapts based on the AI profile you choose. You can select from 9 different options. Okay. And then also you got the 9 options here. And we don't get a date this was posted, but no, we do. It was posted on the 21st. Okay. So pretty recent. But also then you get into a coach with a more conservative adaptive AI profile like system coach might stick to a single scheme, while aggressive option reactive schemer might adapt on the fly. And like Mills said, this seems like it just has to do with coach suggestions. And yeah, which is interesting. Which is interesting. Also, you got some of the more aggressive AIs. The mad scientist, high risk, high reward. Wild blitz. Also some crazy coverages, matchup oriented, quickly reacts to your opponent's biggest threats as threats emerge. So, kind of got these different AIs, and it's interesting that he said this has nothing to do with AI. That is very interesting. But this is kind of how it works. And then also you get this portion down here, and this one is interesting to me because like, what do this really mean? Whether you want a grinder or a gambler, adaptive AI changes how your team plays. Okay, even when you're not on the sticks. Okay, so that's interesting. So is that telling me that it also affects how you sim? And I think the answer is going to be yes, I think. So I think for me, that leads to the question, what is the best adaptive AI for simulation, for you to win games? And do this affect like when you're simming the moments, or do it affect when you just sim games, or do it just affect your coach suggestions, man? So a lot of questions for me personally, a lot of questions. I'm not, just going to sit here and read this and act like it's telling me every single thing I need to know, because it's not. It's telling me a lot of information though. It's telling me a lot of information I didn't have before I made that video yesterday. I'm willing to admit that. So I guess this also asks the question, like, how does this, affect or compare the defense aggressiveness? And you also got the offensive version. Like, how do all of this stuff blend? And, you got some people in the comments asking some of these questions. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting, man. Like I said, information here, but it's still not 100% clear, because like I said, we still just have some questions. So for me personally, I'm be honest. I'm be completely honest for you guys, and please let me know if y'all have noticed this or agree, disagree. I have changed my adaptive AI for, some of my series. And one thing I noticed since changing it, I do feel like the gameplay has changed. I changed it to mad scientists, and it could be the placebo effect. It could be. But at the end of the day, I don't think the placebo effect is always a bad thing. If, think about it like this. If you have a headache and you take medicine, but in reality it's candy, but it make your head feel better because, you trick yourself into thinking it's candy or thinking it's medicine when it wasn't, and you feel better, well, the result is you feel better. And the result here for me is the gameplay feels better. Now, obviously, if that headache really a tumor, that's a different conversation. But that don't apply to the in-game terms, in-game situation that we're referring to. And, maybe none of that makes sense. But no, really, changing my adaptive AI to mad scientist, I ain't gonna lie, man, my gameplay do feel better. And y'all take that information how y'all want. Y'all take it how y'all want, man. And I'm gonna keep putting it on mad scientists, even though part of me is like, this means nothing. This don't affect how, the other team plays against me. It don't affect it, even though, like I said, I'm just gonna keep it on that just because. And I also want to point out, like, there's still a good part of the community. Like, I know y'all was cooking me down below, but understand, there's still a good part of the community that do think adaptive AI has an impact on how your gameplay actually is on the field, man. How difficult another team play against you. I'm not saying I'm a part of that community, but we're not going to act like it's not there. Like, it's other parts of the community that think, if you want to change how your CPU play against you, you need to change auto subs instead of actually changing sliders. They think auto subs affect how, gameplay is more so than sliders. Same thing if you turn off intentional grounding. Some people say intentional grounding leads to the CPU being more aggressive while throwing the football. Is any of this stuff true? I really do not know. But at the end of the day, is information, is it wrong, is it true? We really don't know because we didn't make the game. We did not make it. But at the end of the day, it's a video game, man. Play it however you want, man. I'm going to keep hitting my thing on mad scientists, just even if it's a small chance that it has some impact on how the CPU plays against you. I'm not going to take the risk. I'd rather, just put it on the hardest possible setting. But, most likely that's not the case. Most likely, the devs are, they made the game and they said it works this way. Most likely that's how it works. I think my only maybe issue is like, just make it super obvious. Like, I don't want to have to go find it, and nobody do, just make it obvious. You put the setting there, just maybe put a little description next to what the setting actually do, I think they do it for stuff like this. On the right side, you get the little setting of, it tell you what skill level means in this game, but maybe we should also get that for adaptive AI, maybe a small complaint, but I think it will go a long way and just, limit the confusion, because at the end of the day, a lot of people really don't know how it works. And even though, we made this video, a lot of people or a couple people watched it, however many people, there's still going to be a ton of other people out there that have no idea how that works. And, so at the end of the day, just more information is always better. But just super quick video for y'all today, man. Make sure I like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all boys, man. And we on to the next one.